Chobra and Rotterdam. This has been an epic tournament indeed, and now we'll have an epic finish. I'm already excited from what I'm seeing here, being chatted in the game. Parting, starting his shenanigans. Apollo, are you ready?
I am ready, Autosis.
Let's get into the game.
You missed the best part,
yeah,
guys.
You guys missed the best part, sorry. Well, up in the top left of Cactus Valley. Parting.
It's his first Intel Extreme Masters final. He's played in 2 semis before this, but he's finally got to the top. Can he put the cherry on the very top?
Or will it just be some sprinkles? I don't know. In the bottom left, his opponent, a double champion in Korea, it is Classic.
Star League this year, GSL last year.
Maybe an IEM this year.
Maybe. Both of these players, the first time in an Intel Extreme Masters final. And one of them will be a first-time Intel Extreme Masters champion as we enter the 10th edition of the Intel Extreme Masters. 10 years of awesome esports, and they kick it off.
It is a very long time indeed. In fact, Parting was 10 years old when Intel Extreme Masters was first running its events. Think about that for a moment.
I know, I just was actually. And 10 years later, he's in the grand finals.
Yeah, who would have thought? Probably him. He's always been a very confident player.
He thinks he's going to win this, but I really don't believe it's going to be as easy as he does think so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Classic is someone we just keep on underestimating.
Yep.
The guy has already won a couple big championships that, well, Parting has not. So we're going to have to see. I mean, Parting, of course, has gotten to a finals of a GSL, a fantastic finals, in fact, just very recently, but still the championship evading him there. He'd love to pick up an Intel Extreme Masters, though.
Well, Classic's inside the main base of Parting, sent out a very early probe scout and did go in the correct direction. He's having a little bit of a zap here and there, and a good look and feel of his opponent's opening build order.
I think we're going to see a lot of mind games here, Apollo, I have to say. It's like these two players, both very clever players, both very good at micro. I would give the micro end of it to Parting slightly over Classic. But Classic can be a very tricky player and immediately throws down a Stargate.
Which Parting's probe's going to go straight in and spot this immediately.
That's very good for him to be able to check that out. Now, what does Parting do to counterplay this? Does he throw up his own Stargate and go Phoenix? Does he go with a Twilight Council? Maybe throws down a Nexus?
In the previous series, when Classic played against Hero, he opened up exactly like this, and he ended up cancelling the Stargate to throw down the Twilight, but he's going to let it finish this time.
Well, it just throws up a second gateway here, and it's like almost kind of, okay, a second and a third gateway. So it looks like he wants to actually do a 3-gate rush here.
Yep. Try to catch Classic before he's really ready, because he's chosen an Oracle and it's on its way, but is that really going to help out against a lot of Stalkers on the defense?
It certainly will not, and you know, I think a big part of this is because Classic actually skipped the Mothership core to get the Oracle super fast, so a 3-gate attack is actually a really good idea by Parting.
Putting the pressure on very early on in this best of 7 series. Here's the probe, here's the pylon. Mothership core's going to stay at home for Parting to actually deal with the Oracle he's expecting to come into play. Where's the Oracle going?
That's a kind of funny direction. You know what? I bet he's looking for the pylon.
Well, he's not going to see anything. He slightly misses that probe and pylon over here. And the attack is going to begin soon. There is a robotics facility behind this for Parting to make sure he is safe in case this isn't a Stargate. Of course, it still can be cancelled. But 3 Stalkers being warped in to join the original 2. And at the moment, Classic's defense is just 3 Stalkers. They do have the high ground advantage, but that's all he has at this point.
Yeah, that's not nearly enough. And, he's going to be able to get that probe. He misses getting the probe. That's actually kind of a big mistake there.
All right, 5v5. 5 Stalkers versus 5 probes are going to have to come off the line. 2 have already gone down. And Parting has a pylon inside the main base. The 6th Stalker joins, and that will give him also high ground vision, this pylon.
That's a pretty big deal. We do have that Oracle flying in, not really getting as much done as it would like. 8 probes already going down for Classic here. We see Parting moving up forward with his Stalkers. He has more Stalkers and great micro, and this game looks like it's over.
Just like that, Autosis. A quick decision and a quick win for Parting. Classic has nothing left. All of his probes are off the line, and Parting continues to warp in his economy completely untouched. And Parting starts this like he wants to end it. This is a very, very dominating and very, very easy victory.
Oh, wow. Absolutely phenomenal there by Parting. A really quick decision to go for a 3-gate rush against a skipped Mothership core, paying off hugely. Of course, a little mistake by Classic there. If he had sniped that probe coming up, that entire defense looks different.
Well, that's definitely a... not a good way to start a best-of-7 finals for Classic, but he also didn't start the best-of-5 series against Hero very well either.
No, that's quite true.
But he did manage to turn that one around, so hopefully he can do this. And he doesn't want to let Parting get too much into his head, especially with those units dancing towards the end. You know what Parting's like.
Yeah, indeed. I think we all know what Parting's like by now. Been watching his antics for years now. But Classic knows how to stay calm, cool, and collected under pressure here.
Yeah, it's not the first best-of-7 he's ever been in, Autosis.
No, certainly not. Many best-of-7s for this man. Many resulting in victory and championship.
Just one final series left. It's a little bit sad at the same time. We've had a lot of fun here in Shenzhen.
Yeah, I don't want it to end, actually. This has been actually one of my favorite events that I've done in a very long time.
Yeah, it's been so much fun out here in China. You can't quite experience the same as we have done via the stream, but trust me, the Chinese crowd is a lot of fun. And of course, being here at the Cartoon and Animation Festival, that's been one of a kind.
That is a fact. Apollo, it looks like map number 2 going to be Terraform. Let's get into this game. In the top left, we have our Protoss player winning game number 1. It is Parting. And his opponent in the bottom left, he's going to want to win this one. It is Classic. A Protoss among Protoss. Wants to be the king of the race. If he beats Parting here, I think he's got a pretty solid claim for it.
Where would you say Classic is in the rankings of Protoss players?
I think if you don't name him as like a top 5, then you're really disrespecting what he's done at this point, especially at this tournament. This is the one that has put me over the edge as a Classic fan, to be honest. I mean, he kind of snuck in a GSL against a teammate in the finals, kind of, you know, it's like, oh, are you better than this? I'm not so sure. But then he won SSL just recently, and it was like, oh, wow, that was pretty clever how you did that.
Yep.
But here he is, like, beating Rain, you know, taking out CJ Hero. Are you kidding me? CJ Hero, that's insane. Yeah. Beating Lucira out, who's been playing very well lately. I think that we have to consider him a top 5 Protoss.
Yeah, Classic has had a lot of success in the last 12 months. I mean, of course, he got that GSL win towards the beginning of the summer last year. He also got top 4 in Casper Cup. He got top 4 at BlizzCon. I mean, he played at the global finals at the end of the year, and he got top 4. And then, of course, he went on to win the Star League earlier this year, as you said. But yeah, still somehow sneaks.
What do you have to do, to be recognized? But this is the power of Classic. He's, you know, maybe his play style or his interviews aren't quite as memorable as some of these other guys, but he is making such a name for himself right now.
Well, this pylon is something to remember him by this time, Autosis. He has a pylon in the center of the map, and it looks like he is going to be putting a Stargate over there. And he's going to try and rush Parting with a Stargate. Obviously, Oracle coming from that.
I would hope so. We have Parting. Not really deciding yet, but he's scouting rather quickly, and he should be able to identify that there could be a proxy.
But where is it?
Yeah, well, these new maps, sometimes you don't really have it mapped out where these proxies all go.
Parting's having a look inside this main base, and he's coming down to the bottom. So where's that pylon? What are you doing, Classic?
It's like, wait, maybe it's over here. Did I miss it? And you see, he checks all the way.
Yeah.
This is what he's doing, guys. He's looking specifically for a second pylon right now.
He hasn't found it, and he's going to check on the natural to see if it's a mind game, if it's just hidden down here in Now he's going to start to realize what's going on. The mothership core is on its way out into the middle of the map to have a look what he can find. And right now...
Ooh, it's on a collision course with that Stargate, and that's a huge deal. No, it's not. Oh, wait, no, it should just... Whoa. Barely doesn't see the Oracle.
Well, he knows something's up. He just doesn't know where it is. He's checking to the top right-hand side with his probe to see if it's over there. He's having a look with the mothership core, and even a secondary probe has been sent out that's having a look around. Oh, no, Stalker, sorry. Having a look around. Chrono boosting another Stalker. He knows something isn't right, so very good instinct here from Parton. But can he stop this Oracle from dealing damage?
Well, he's not really in position for it right now. He's going to have to bring back this mothership core. He's going to need to defend this as best he can. On goes the Oracle.
He's going to try and get a wraparound on that Stalker. No, he's not. He's going to pull the probes back. Only 3 probes killed.
That was a little bit of a blunder, I feel like, from Classic. I feel like he should have been able to get 4 or 5 probes there pretty easily, but Parting pulling his probes so quickly, bringing those Stalkers back up, was able to push it out.
No photon overcharge used yet. There's a second Oracle from Classic. Double damage time. There is a photon overcharge Parting. A little bit slow to activate it at this moment, and it does go down, and he is going to get a kill on this Oracle. It sacrifices itself for 2 additional probes.
Yeah, not as many as you really want from that first Oracle, but having the second, that might throw him off. He has not shown it yet, so when that wears off and Parting is across the map, I think that's Classic's plan. He's going to fly right in there and kill as many probes as he can.
Well, Parting has Blink almost completed. Classic quite a way away. He's found the pylon and Stargate. Obviously, Classic now is saying, wait a minute, you've got 3 Stalkers not in the middle of the map. And this second Oracle is going to be a right surprise. He's going to lose a lot this time.
Yeah, he certainly is. This is a very smart mind game from Classic here. We don't see this too often, but when we do, if you trick him as hard as he's tricked Parting, it can really pay off here. Here we go. The Oracle coming into the middle line. How many can he actually kill? Only 1 Stalker being warped in. The second now, a little bit of miss micro there, but he is getting a lot of probes.
Yeah, 6, 7 have gone down, and he's going to try and get a couple more. You just want to try and get as much as you can at this point. He's got 8, and he gets a 9th kill.
Wow.
Towards the end, he's going to lose the Oracle, but the Oracle's done its job. Parting has lost a lot of his probes and a lot of economy, and he has Stalkers on the other side of the map. But look, Classic's already got more than him.
That's right, and Blink on the way as well. When this Blink finishes, Parting could be in trouble, but he's going for a Dark Shrine, so he's going to see if he can pick up a quick win like that. It's a little bit hard, though. The Oracle, of course, can detect.
But the Stargate's unpowered, Artos. You have to build another one. Stargate's in the middle of the map. He lost both Oracles now.
Okay, never mind.
But he does start the robotics facility. Well, so there is the safety net there where he can get an observer out.
Indeed. Well, that Dark Shrine, it could do some damage, but I'm really liking Classic's spot, obviously. He's killed off 14 probes total. Yeah, his Oracles are dead. Yeah, he doesn't have detection right this second, but he's preparing for every single little thing that Parting could be doing. When you're up that many probes, you can absolutely do something very safe, like get that observer out right away.
Oh, no, this is really bad news for Parting. Great blink down there by Classic. And he's going to chase Parting all the way home.
Very cute move there by Parting, having those destructible rocks set up so that he could escape from his opponent.
Well, even if
probably go Blink.
Yeah, that was a nice move. I was just saying, even if there is an observer, where are the Stalkers going to be? Here's the Dark Temple warp in, but...
Well, yeah, actually, Classic does not have a mothership core, something he's been skipping quite often. In fact, his observer, well, okay, he sees it, and his Stalkers are coming back, so shouldn't really take very much damage at all from these. And that is another huge pickup here.
Oh, he even blocks the Dark Templar from getting in there.
Literally 0 kills from 2 Dark Templars.
And Parting's in a bit of trouble. Yeah, that's his entire army at this point, with the amount of money off one base he threw into the Dark Shrine and Dark Templar. 5 Stalkers to 10. And at this point, Classic is in a position where he can just move over to the other side of the map and pick up a win, but he is going to slow this down a little bit. He's taking his expansion.
Yeah, you know what? I think that this is okay for now. Get that second observer out, build a few more units, like really guarantee this victory where there's just no way out of it for Parting.
Yeah, and now Classic's starting to make a move to the other side of the map. He's currently at the halfway point, blinking forward, and more units are on their way. I'm sure there's going to be a probe and a pylon following very shortly. And there it is. And this should be a nice and easy pickup for Classic.
I don't know what Parting could possibly do here to stay alive. His natural nexus, not even close to done. Sure, he could use a photon overcharge, but the amount of stalkers here won't even care about that.
Unfortunately for Parting, not the best of time in the second map, but a great start here for Classic in the finals, being able to pick up a map. He should be able to do this. He blinks in and there's nothing here. Takes down the mothership and that is it. GG's called. A nice and easy pick up for Classic. Ties the series up 1 apiece now.
All right, that gives us a best of 5 left here. And very good play by Classic that time. Parting, though, was a little bit unlucky not seeing the Stargate. His mothership core came within really like 1 pixel of seeing that Stargate. And if he sees that right then, right there, he's in a little bit better position. He's more on top of it to be able to take out a pylon earlier. It was really the second Oracle, I think, that won that game for Classic.
Yeah, really good decision from Classic. And now he finds himself in a much better position. Looking back, the last time these met, it was in Taipei in the quarterfinals. Parting took a 3-0 very easily. And Classic just fell apart. He was making mistakes. He couldn't keep himself together. But a different story this time around.
Yeah, he's certainly grown a lot as a player since then. You know, I think Classic has always had a very steady upward movement in his skill overall. I think that's part of the reason why we've kind of neglected him. Like, yeah, he won a GSL, but he wasn't as good as the other Protosses at that moment. But his time has truly come here in the finals of Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen.
And a slip up here from Parting would be disastrous, especially the way that he's been talking about how this is his tournament from the very beginning. It's not a way you want to go out. But Classic putting up the fight.
Indeed he is. It looks like Coda is going to be our next map, Apollo. Game is starting up, so we'll get into that in just a moment. Get out there, tell your friends, the Intel Extreme Masters Finals is going on right now. The winner here will be at the World Championships in Katowice next year.
All right, here we are, loaded into the game. Down on the bottom right-hand side of Coda is the red Protoss player. It's Parting. One step at a time.
And his opponent in the top left, coming back in game 2, it's Classic.
He used a classic opening in that previous match with the proxy Stargate. How many more are we going to see?
That's a good question. You know, I think on the newer maps, proxies are just so strong because people haven't played them enough to really know the ins and outs of scout patterns to find them. So maybe not on a map like Coda. I think that's, you know, they've played a lot more games on this map. It's a bit of an older map. But maybe as we go into some of these other wild maps.
Well, Classic just now had a quick look inside his main base, seeing if there was any gateways or pylons there that he'd have to be worrying about. That's not the case.
I do recall during Taipei more than a few proxy gates from Parting against Classic. Definitely something you want to check, especially with the type of micro Parting has.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy you are not going to fend him off if you have less units.
And the opening's going to be the same throughout this series here, unless we are going to see structures in the middle of the map like that previous game. It's always going to be this double gas opener, which sets the Protoss up to be able to swing whichever way they want to choose with their tech choice. More than often, it's usually Twilight Council and Blink is the more common of everything, right, Autosis?
Yeah, certainly the case. Blink is just so versatile in this matchup. Once upon a time, you could open up with a quick robotics and use those Immortals, but with the strength of Oracle against a build like that, that's all but extinct. We're definitely going to see Stargates. We're definitely going to see Blink. Those are the two main ones, with some offshoots. Sometimes you'll see a fast Nexus on these maps, not as much. Sometimes you'll see a fast Dark Templar build. The best of 7, wouldn't be surprised if we saw one of those.
Yep. Parting enters the main base now of Classic, and Classic reverting away from just choosing a tech choice straight before adding on any units. He's getting his Stalker and Mothership core out, so he is going to be playing a lot more tighter with his cards to his chest, not really revealing what he's up to compared to how he's been playing Protoss versus Protoss this weekend. And now the choices are going to be made. With the units coming out, the denial of the scouting has happened. And what are the choices going to be?
We'll see just momentarily. Stargate versus Twilight, the classic battle of Protoss versus Protoss right now, with Parting choosing that Stargate. Classic, of course, with the Twilight. I gotta ask your opinion. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Oracle into Blink. I think it's a really nice build against Blink itself.
I like that style too. Being able to get that Oracle into the mineral line, slow your opponent down, and then use the Mothership Core to buy time to get the same amount of Stalkers and Blink upgrade out is nice, but parting is gone from Stargate into Robotics Facility.
Could this mean Phoenix, or do you think he'll still open Oracle?
I do not know. Time will tell.
Indeed. Well, we do have a very fast Nexus coming down from Parting as well.
Wow. Very exposed build order from Parting.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have any units, doesn't have any gateways. He's choosing Phoenixes over Oracle here. If there was to be a very sudden attack from Classic, which at the moment there is not planned, then he could be in trouble. But looking at the minimap a little bit, is that a probe out in the map?
That is,
from
in fact,
both?
a probe from both players here.
And Classic
in fact, they might run into each other. Oh, no, just barely not.
Yeah. Classic is the one with the tools to be aggressive. He has Blink, he has 3 gateways, he's got a robotics facility to be a little bit safe, but one of the most important parts here, I think, if that probe from Classic, what is its plan? Is it to scout out the Nexus? Is it to place a pylon close?
It has to place a pylon close, I think. I think the other pylon is just kind of like a cool strategic place to put a pylon, but I would be surprised when he has his 3 gates finishing not to put down a proxy pylon before checking the natural.
Well, Classic just scouted the Nexus of Parting now, and he's moving down with the Provis zone to build his own, but he has to kind of do something with these Stalkers that he's built. He's kind of slowed himself down. I mean, the Nexus has completed for Parting, and it hasn't even begun yet for Classic.
That is true. This could be a little bit tough, a little bit tricky for him. He does warp in that pylon. He has to put on some sort of pressure with his Stalkers here. He does have Blink, so even though there's Immortals, which do very well against Stalkers out for Parting, he still has some mobility. He still has something to work with here.
Well, 3 Stalkers, going to have a quick look up this ramp, see what we're playing around with. Photon Overcharge activated immediately. Chases those 3 out, and the Stargate out in the middle of the map here from Classic.
Ooh, I like that.
Wow.
I actually like that a lot. To go into a proxy Oracle against a build like this. Now, of course, there's Phoenixes, but if the Phoenixes are out of position, he can actually get a bunch of probe kills right away, maybe get the army out of position, and a big Blink attack can do something then.
It's only 2 Phoenix, though. Not exactly super effective at killing off a lot of probes very fast.
No, certainly not. Still going to get whatever edge that he can at the moment. Kind of doing a little bit of scouting down here as well.
Yep. Picks up 2 probes, going to get a 3rd. And a 4th. And then the energy now is spent. At the same time, though, Classic. Yeah, forces Nexus Cannon. Classic's on the other side being a little bit aggressive. Poking forward, taking a little bit of damage to his first initial Stalker from these double Immortals. And Classic's going to go into the main base with his Stalkers, and then Oracle to the natural by the seams.
And look at this, he's going to go ahead and start targeting down this Immortal, but there's 3 Immortals out. He's not going to be able to really get anything done there. Not as effective as he would have hoped, and it looks, oh my god, he actually scouted that there's an Oracle on the way. Everything looks really good for Parting right now.
Is he going to take damage? The Oracle is going into the main base. 2 Phoenixes come back, and they find it. Great positioning from Parting to bring that back, and the Oracle goes down after a single probe kill.
Wow. This is a really bad place for Classic to be in this game. The Proxy Oracle doing just about nothing. The Blink harassment doing actually nothing.
Yeah, he's going to try again. Or is he? He's got his Observer in position ready to go. He blinks up. 3 Immortals very close. Doesn't see that, though.
Yeah, waiting for that Blink to recharge so he can move out immediately if need be.
And straight back out again. No harassment, unfortunately.
Is that like 1 probe kill?
Yeah, 1 probe kill for all those Stalkers and that Oracle.
Really, really tough spot here for Classic.
Well, he's found the Mothership Core.
All right. A little bit of a start. Going to be able to pick off one of these Phoenixes as well. And he's going to lose another Stalker, unfortunately.
With +1 attack now started for Parting, and also his first Colossus, whereas the Robotics Bay only just been put down by Classic.
He is just behind really in every way here. Parting has really quite shut him down.
Very solid opening from Parting, and unfortunately for Classic, this was such a greedy opening for Parting, and he just wasn't able to punish it. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't do anything about it. And now Parting's getting away with this greed that he ever so wanted at the start of this match. And a good position he's found himself now as we get closer and closer to the mid-game.
Well, that one Phoenix going to go around and scout. One Phoenix is pretty weak by itself, but still works very well for checking out what your opponent is doing. Right now, if we look at the types of armies these guys have, that favors Parting a lot as well. And that's because he has 3 Immortals, which are going to counter all of these Stalkers that Classic has made. And that just does not bode well for him. That's 18 extra supply that just won't be very effective against Parting.
So at this moment, Parting coasting with his lead. What's the best way for Classic to find a way back in, or find a way to equalize?
Oh man, that is a tough one, isn't it?
I guess Stalker harassment is a good start, but he hasn't been able to get anything from this yet. And
as you
can see, he's losing this too.
Brutal, yeah. The only thing that he really has on Parting is Blink right now, and mobility in general. Like, Parting is basically building up to a very powerful death ball type of composition that will win all battles heads up.
Yeah.
And that's why he's taking a third base, because it's going to take a while to get there. He needs to get that more economy. Maybe Classic can do some more harassment, whether that's Blink Stalkers, maybe a Warp Prism at some point. It's going to be tough, though. It's definitely an uphill battle.
Parting's army in the middle of Coda. Still majority Stalkers and just a single Colossus. He's got a 10 supply army advantage over Parting, but does he have the sheer quality? There's a lot of that, as you said, is Stalkers, and there are Immortals to stop them.
Well, Classic, he's about to have Thermal Lance. Of course, Parting has that already. Yeah, I don't feel like he has what he needs here.
No. And Parting's going to back off. The only one thing I guess Classic could do is blink into the main base, maybe find a position to bring Parting there and then move his main army to cancel the third. It would be a nice move.
Yeah, that would actually be really nice. That's actually a great idea. And I do want to point out he has a full energy Mothership Core, whereas we don't have enough energy on that Mothership Core Parting for any spells. So that is a gigantic difference.
Yeah, Classic's in the main base with the Blink Stalkers. He brings his other squad of units towards his third base, and he's going to start his work on the Nexus. Yeah. He blinks out with the Stalkers, and this is what his move is taking shape to be, and it's working.
Yeah, this is a really smart, really fantastic move, because he's utilizing his mobility. He's saying, okay, what do I have to work with? I have Blink Stalkers. Okay, go into the main base and hit somewhere else. Very well done by Classic.
Yeah, very nice move by Classic. Really, really nice. And Stalkers go into the main base again as Parting was chasing the army out. And he's going to get the robotics facility.
Well, that's a great building to be able to pick off. That's really going to stifle the Colossus production here for Parting. Really the most important unit in the matchup in the late game.
Nice moves by Classic, and this is exactly what we needed to see from him. A way to draw himself back into this.
And I would say that that's exactly what he's done here. I don't really put him at very much of a deficit. Still a slightly better army overall for Parting.
Yep.
But everything just got really evened up from what we saw Classic do here.
He's going to take a cannon as well as 2 probes, and is now going to blink out. He's moving forward again with his army, and he's got quite a lot of units here. +2 attack now completing for Parting. That's going to help out a lot. 3 Colossus for Classic, still at an army advantage. 3 Archons are going to soak up a lot of the damage output.
I think that's the real problem here. They're pretty close in Zealot numbers. Like, Classic has a little bit more.
Yep.
And he does have 1 more Colossus, which is kind of a big deal. In fact, if he waits, he has 2 more Colossus, 1 just coming from his base now.
Well, this army's now been seen. Parting has an observer on top of it. Not going to make the same mistake twice. But he's still having to split his forces up to deal with the Stalkers inside the main base and the main army on this left-hand side. Parting splits his army up very nicely with some in the main and on third.
This is really some brilliant play from Classic. He is going to hit with 5 Colossus after killing that robotics and disallowing Parting from having as many. So right now, Parting is in trouble. He's down 2 Colossus at the moment. And again, that is the important unit in this matchup for the late game.
+2 now completed for Classic, so they're going to be equal in upgrades for this fight if it's going to take place. So it looks like it is. Classic looking for an angle. He's going to dive in here.
All right, let's see it. The Zealots all charging towards each other. We have Time Warps going down at the moment. Oh, those Hallucinate Colossus actually get targeted down and take a lot of damage. Parting's Colossus in the back taking no damage so far.
And it's 5 Colossus versus 3 for Classic. This is pretty nice. He's moving forward. He's got an angle onto this army, and he's going to charge up this ramp. The 4th Colossus comes out from Parting, but is it going to be enough? A lot of these units are so low health for Classic. One of the Colossus goes down, but it is not going to be enough for Parting. And Classic, from losing the first map, is going to flip it upside down and actually lead this series 2-1. This is
right.
it.
Yeah, Parting is gone. He is out of here, microing his heart out, but there is absolutely no way to hold on. Some fantastic, brilliant maneuvering from Classic to come back from such a deficit.
Really good play once again displayed here by Classic, like he did against the 3-time champion Hero in the semis. He's doing now against Parting in the finals.
Really, really impressive play. You know, when we were talking about how does he actually come back here, what can he do with these Blink Stalkers to make this work? And he found a way in. Blink in, make a few more Blink Stalkers so he can deal that damage, hit that third base, and to pick off the robotics and then follow it up with a 5 Colossus timing attack. Nothing short of brilliance out of Classic here today.
No smiles and no games anymore for Parting. No more unit dancing. He's now trailing in this series. Losing this next map is so important to not have happen for Parting. To go down 3-1 is very, very difficult.
Guess what map it is, Apollo?
I don't know, Artosis. I'm going to guess. Dash and Terminal.
It's Dash and Terminal.
Oh, I got it right.
Look, this is definitely a map that Parting can win on. This is a wild and crazy map. In fact, we have not seen it in one game so far this weekend because it is that crazy.
Yep. This is one of the wildest maps that we can play on. And we haven't seen it at all, as you've said. If you've just tuning in now, by the way, this is, of course, the grand finals of the Intel Extreme Masters. And if you've missed anything, you can go to plays.tv and check out some of the highlights and some of the last couple of matches that we've seen here at the Intel Extreme Masters. And we've had a couple of really good ones as well, so...
Yeah, definitely have.
All right, big game coming up now for both sides. If Classic is able to win this one, he is a single game away from becoming an Intel Extreme Masters champion. Parting needs to prevent this from happening. He needs to equalize it. It's very difficult to come back from a series when you start to let it slip away from you.
Well, you know, Parting is one of those guys that can flip a series on its head and come back with 3 kills in a row, but that is not what he's going to want to do. Looks like the map is loading, everybody. This finals of Shenzhen, an epic one for sure. Over here in the right-hand side of Dash and Terminal, our Protoss player, it is Parting.
No more fun and games. This is the real deal.
His opponent in the top center from SK Telecom leading 2-1. It is Classic.
Looking like a brick wall. No emotions, no worry.
Indeed. Always the case with Classic. Very stoic player. Doesn't let anything get into his head, and this is why he is possibly about to become a 3-time champion in StarCraft 2.
All right, what is going to be the strategy on this map? For any of you that don't know, this is one of the, as mentioned before, one of the wildest maps that we have out there. There's gold bases in the center, there's gold bases further down to the bottom left. We see all these different types of crazy strategies, but can you really utilize the wildness of the map in Protoss versus Protoss?
I think what you can utilize is how close the mains are to each other, but for all the gold bases, the island expand and stuff, I don't think it'll ever really get to that.
Do you think we'll see something crazy then?
Yes, I think that we're going to see a lot of aggression.
Air strategies?
I think so.
Because of how close it is?
We could see Phoenix versus Phoenix, absolutely. A big possibility. And when it's Phoenix versus Phoenix, things get crazy. Either you add Stalkers and go for a kill right then, or it's non-stop Phoenix until like 3 bases. And it's pretty exciting either way. Yeah, that's an interesting hidden...
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to actually use it or not, or if he's looking to play mind games with Classic to show a hidden pylon from his main base. But both players going to have a look around. Parting going to have... It's kind of an interesting way that he's taken.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is probably a tough one for both of them. I do believe that this will be the least played map for both of these players in the entire pool. It's just one that doesn't get picked very often.
Well, Classic inside the main base. Parting is going to have a look around. Parting has a probe on the other side of the map. And what is he doing with it? Is it just a scout? It seems so. Inside he goes. He's going to see the Stargate very, very early on. Classic going back to how we like to play in previous Protoss versus Protoss games. Get that Stargate straight away no matter what before any units. And it is spotted.
And this has been a good mind game as well, by the way. We do see right now that we have Parting kind of scouting all over that main base, trying to find that additional pylon. Let's not forget that before this, or Classic rather, scouting for that additional pylon, sorry, but that's like a really big deal to not be able to find it. He might be thinking, oh, there could be a proxy Stargate here, there could be just about anything, but this is actually coming from Parting as a 3-gateway rush. So if he, okay, he is going Oracle. This is actually a big deal. I was going to say, he might think it's proxy Stargate and go Phoenix, which could make that very difficult to hold, but going for that Oracle.
I mean, this is just a repeat of what we saw in map number 1, where Parting just smashed his way through. And he's looking to repeat that again. And we could have a very similar scenario. Well, I mean, there's an extra gateway coming in. The mothership core is here, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the one big difference, I would say, is that we have a mothership core here. So that mothership core should be able to buy him some time. That doesn't mean that he's going to just hold it and win, but it'll give him time to get some more units out of himself.
Not enough energy on the mothership core of Parting, though. The Oracle flies in, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Oh, man, that is absolutely brutal already.
Wow.
4 probe kills, 5 now. Damaging a whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch of them. This is disastrous here.
There, but yeah, 9 kills at this point. Oh man, Classic is just killing him off right now.
Oh, this is absolutely disastrous here for Parting. I don't even know what he can do at this point. He's lost 11 probes at the 6-minute mark. And as much as we talked about how this is a must-win for Parting, not to let it go down 3-1, Classic, through a simple maneuver, has just gone over the other side of the map, got an Oracle in his opponent's main base, destroyed the mineral line, and now it's as simple as activate Photon Overcharge, sit pretty with your better economy, build more units of Parting, and kill him off.
That's right, and Parting doing his best to micro anything he can here, losing a bunch of Stalkers, but there's no options left. At 10 Harvesters, he absolutely cannot support an economy to build any more units. Really.
And the Oracle's still alive. Once that Photon Overcharge goes down, there's no units here. Parting's going to lose even more, and here we go. This is game, and Parting is going to go down. Classic, though, on the other side of things. What an absolutely fiery turnaround in this Grand Finals. And here, one final defense from Classic, and he's going to see himself go into the rubber match and the decider match where he is now 1 game away from being the Industry Masters champion. Now he's dancing in Parting's face.
All right. Classic showing Parting a little bit of his own medicine there. This is pretty awesome, man. He's up 3-1.
Wow.
This would be his first win overseas.
Can't believe that he danced units there. Parting dancing units in the first map where he won, and now it's 3-1 to Classic.
Do you think Parting might be falling apart a little bit here, Apollo?
I think so. Things are not going his way, as he's just run into Classic, and Classic just absolutely solid. No mistakes. He's looking fantastic. He's looking like a champion. He almost is one.
Yeah, just needs that 1 game. And being on match point as Protoss, he gets 3 tries in PvP to knock down Parting. And like 3-0ing someone in PvP is very, very difficult. And that's exactly what Parting has to do if he wants to be the champion here.
The amount of choices now that Classic can gamble with, he can use strategies which you shouldn't be using often because of how much of a risk they can be. He can be greedy, he can be completely aggressive with no defense at home, and it just doesn't matter anymore, because if it works, he's won. But at the same time, he must not be complacent at this point too. No. I know he is 3-1 up, this is a fantastic position to be in, but he can't be complacent.
That is a fact. Parting wants this championship so bad. He's been talking about it. Yeah. Talking so much trash, saying absolutely he's going to win. He's already the champion. This is no problem. He's not screwing around anymore. He is just going for it. And Classic is tearing it away from him. Classic, by the way, already beat Rain, already beat Hero. And here he is up 3-1 against Party.
All right. Up here to the top left-hand side is the red Protoss player. It's Parting, who has a lot of work cut out for him now. If he wants to be a winner, you've got to show us why.
And his opponent in the top left, up 3-1, looking for his first IEM victory. It's Classic. Becoming an absolute monster. This guy has been a pro gamer now for about 7 years, just about 7 years now. Was a #1 draft pick in StarCraft 1. Never really lived up to the hype, came to StarCraft 2, didn't like Terran, switched over to Protoss. Still didn't do too much, has been rising through the ranks, slowly but surely over at SK Telecom. And here he is now, a champion of GSL, a champion of SSL, and perhaps shortly of Intel Extreme Masters as well.
Yeah, it really did take Classic a long time to get his stride in StarCraft 2, but he's absolutely found it. Towards the end of 2014 and now coming into 2015, he has definitely certified his position as one of the best Protoss players out there. Parting, though, on the other hand, I mean, he's played in multiple finals now. He's lost a lot of finals as well, don't forget. I think he's won 5, and he's also lost 5 too, which is an insane record once he gets to the finals.
That's pretty crazy. To even get there that many times is something to be absolutely applauded. Parting, definitely a player that will be remembered for all time already for what he's done. And here he is, possibly picking up another championship.
And now,
it's a tough one, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult one for him to do. Sending out a nice and early probe scout to try to find out where his opponent is on this 4-player map. He could spawn in any of the locations. And he's not going to find him until very, very late here, which gives Classic a chance to choose a tech choice immediately, and it perhaps might not even get scouted by the time that the probe gets up there for Parting.
Yeah, this is one of the things that can happen on a 4-player map. If you don't find them in the first 2 spots, you don't get to scout what they're doing. And in Protoss versus Protoss, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's going to be Mothership Core chrono boosted out, and Parting's just going to be completely in the dark. He hasn't even reached the bottom right-hand side yet. And Classic has chosen the Twilight Council.
To be fair, Classic not going to be able to scout Parting either, most likely. Little headbutt there from the probes. Parting quickly figuring out that he's going to have to do some sort of blanket build to try to counter whatever it is that Classic may be choosing to do. Because he is not going to be able to verify it unless his Mothership Core can get in there.
Yeah, it looks like it's on its way.
Yeah, always a risk, though. You got to be very careful with that Mothership Core. You lose it early on, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well, here's Classic, who's, as we mentioned, is in such a wonderful position. He can try anything, and he's just going to open up with a Dark Templar build. He scouted his opponent last, which means he has not revealed where his probe is, and it's currently hiding away, but...
Oh, that's a big fine for Parting right there.
Yeah.
That was meant to build a proxy pylon for his Dark Templars.
Not anymore, which means he's going to have to send out another probe. And also, Parting getting very close with his Mothership Core. He's going to try and get some information from his...
He might be waiting just to have enough to recall out of there, but that could cause a loss for him. He doesn't have any sort of detection. This Dark Shrine over halfway done. He needs to start a robo very soon if he's to hold this.
No robo yet. This is getting a little bit sticky here. Classic with a Dark Templar opening is looking like he just end this series right here. Dark Shrine finishing up. And Parting's going to go inside. Photon Overcharge is activated to try and hide it, but Parting's going to go for it anyway. He sees the Twilight Council, he sees the Dark Shrine, but the robotics facility, is it late? Can it be picked off?
You know what? He might want to warp in some sentries. He might want to hold position on ramp with Stalkers. He's going to have to do something here because those Dark Templars are going to be on their way. They're being warped in right now.
Oh, there's the pylon wall.
Ooh, very well done. That does buy you a little bit of time at least.
And a sentry as well behind this.
Another good call here by Parting. He has to do anything. He can't stop at any measure of holding these off. All right, there we go. He's doing a good job so far. Still, though, this Robo not done yet.
Oh, man. He's running out of force fields. He's having to spend all his gas on sentries. He's trying to complete another wall. The cancels up. The robotics facility is finished. Observer not out yet, though. Probes are going to die.
Okay, good force field right there. Still not any real probe deaths. Like one probe death so far. A couple of them starting to go down.
Oh, this is so bad for Parting. He's just taking so much damage to slow down. He is going to deal with it eventually, but 4 pylons, a couple of probes, a sentry went down.
Canceled buildings. The fact that he had to make 3 sentries, those aren't useful units for him right now. There's not much he can do with those. This is kind of forcing him into an expansion at this point.
And we already have an Immortal out for Classic, so if there was a counter from Parting to come, it's not really going to work against this bad boy, especially with a second on its way. But Parting survives. He doesn't just outright die, but he's not in the best of shape either.
Hey, he has chances here still, no doubt. He does have Blink, and you know what? Sentries with Blink, you can do some very tricky things. You can use hallucinations to get in their main base. You can go ahead and force field the ramp. You can force field in or out the Immortals. And Parting's exactly the type of guy you'd want to see try some of these very complicated and technical micro-based moves.
Dark Templar going to try harass once again. There is an Observer and 2 sentries, though, on the ramp. And it is going to be stopped. Nice trap there by Parting. We're waiting for that. Really nice grab.
I think Classic, not even too sad about that. It's okay to lose that. And the fact that he sees where those sentries are.
Yeah.
He sees the mothership cores over there. That gives him a lot of intel.
Couple of Stalkers going to poke forwards. Can't really do too much here. Try to target down the Zealot. Bring a little bit of damage to the Zealot, but I don't think too much. There is an Observer now, so maybe Parting going to try and jump into the main base to try to get some harassment done.
Yeah, well, he might be able to snipe his opponent's Observer as well. Moves like that can be quite nice.
A 4th Immortal. There's so many.
You know, I wonder what the follow-up here for Classic might be. I would love to see him just grabbing a Colossus, add a few gates, get really aggressive. The amount of mortals he has is something Parting is going to be very hard-pressed to deal with if there's some way to kill force fields.
Yeah, I really like Classic's position too in the center here, preventing any units from attacking his natural, but also preventing the jump into the main as well. Catching any of the Stalkers off, but Parting trying to accelerate everything he can back at home, trying to get the Immortals out. He's got this forge down and this +1 attack. But this is a bit of a scary army that's built up by Classic.
Definitely something force fields he's going to need to help deal with it. Trying to trap these Stalkers right now. Parting could be in some trouble here.
Just a blink away.
Still retains 4 of his Stalkers. He is going up 2 Colossus Tech at the moment. At home, this is his army that he has at home.
He's got a Photon Overcharge. Doesn't really have too much more than that. And Classic is putting some pressure on with these early Immortals.
And with this many force fields, he can really choose how to take this battle. He could take down this Nexus, perhaps.
Yeah, this is a sticky situation here for Parting. And the first Immortal is going to get trapped instantly, and Classic grabs it.
Great pickoff here by Classic.
He's going to wait for Photon Overcharge to go down, and he's going to go in again. He's going to go before that.
Oh, here he goes. Goes forward. Good force fields there by Parting. Force field walls on both sides here. Really, that Nexus cannon, the only thing keeping Parting alive at this moment.
And Classic going to go home. Nice Immortal pick-off, though. That was a nice grab. But back on the other side of things, Classic now has his +1 attack on the way. He's now got his Robotics Bay finishing up so he can go into Colossus, but 4 extra gateways. He's very aggressive and really gunning for this win.
Well, I think that this is a fantastic way to take the win. Just make sure you keep on having more and more and more units. You know Parting's behind in that way. How will he ever catch up if you are spending all of your money on army?
+2 attack from Parting started nice and fast. That can be an advantage, which he may need to lean on. Will he ever get towards it, though, with Classic powering up so much? It's going to be fun to see. And also, yeah, that's a Parting Observer coming into the main base. So this is actually a very good scout for him. Parting goes in, sees additional gateways being added on.
Yeah, that tells him a lot. He can look at this and say, okay, so it doesn't look like you're planning on taking a third quite yet here. definitely could be coming up in the future, though.
Yeah, he's added on 3 gateways of his own now to kind of counterbalance the production that Classic's gone for.
We do see Classic as well going for a Templar Archives. Maybe you want to get some Archons out as well for his army. Does have that Colossus Thermal Lance for both players on the way. Charge as well. Both going into very, very scary armies indeed.
Classic is just going to take his 3rd Nexus for now.
I think it's a good call. He's got 10 more Zealots, he's got 2 more Immortals, and they've got the same amount of probes. You may as well make that 3rd base. You know, Parting's trying to just catch up in units right now. Can he afford to take a Nexus as well? Well, he's going to have to.
Yep. Can't fall behind in that regard either. Good denial from Parting to prevent the scouting of Classic.
Parting even losing that Observer. It's actually something that's kind of impactful. He needs every little ounce of gas he can get. Yeah. He needs all of his robo build time as well on Colossus. So to kill that off, that's a very annoying thing to replace.
And of course he wants eyes on his opponent at all times, ideally, to know where he is, when Classic's going to strike next, because Classic is still adding on a lot of units and still adding on more gateways. He hasn't really begun his probe production yet. He's just now starting a couple of extra ones. And his army's getting beefier and beefier by the minute. He's a 20 supply advantage over Parting.
Oh man, that is a really big deal. Especially when you look at what those units are in.
Yeah.
We do have Archons starting up here. Parting the first to go for them.
Consistent waves of scouting coming out from Parting. Just hallucinated Phoenix after hallucinated Phoenix. He needs to know exactly what Classic is up to. Classic posturing very aggressively in the center of the map now, and it looks like he's going to go for an attack. Parting's got to find the best position. He does have an upgraded advantage for the time being. He sees this army of Classic moving across, and now he must defend not only this game, but his tournament life.
That's right. We see this string of pylons being laid up so that we can have constant reinforcements here for Classic. He's getting ready to drop the hammer right now.
Oh, look at this. Classic, though. He's actually posturing outside, but he's also got a Warp Prism with Dark Templar and Zealots going towards the main base. So he knows that the entire attention of Parting is going to be on this fight and on this army. There is nothing inside the main base. Classic doesn't even need to fight. This is a brilliant move.
It truly is, Apollo. It looks like he's going to go ahead and deliver this drop into that main. Only a single cannon. It's not going to be able to do very much at all. And as he goes back, possibly to defend this, we can see a Classic move right up this ramp and kill that 3rd base of Parting.
What does Parting do? He doesn't really know. He recalls some of the units back, but that leaves his entire army just so exposed and so weak at this moment. And this looks like it's going to be the moment that Classic just goes for it. He realizes that a lot of these units have gone back, and Classic, even though this is not the best fight to take because he's not in a good position, wants to take it, needs to take it anyway, but Parting holds on.
Wow, really good move there by Parting. It didn't look good at the beginning, but you know what? He's not dead yet. He's defended that drop in the main base for now. And here we go, a good time war coming down from Classic. Parting trying to get in there, realizes he has to turn around.
Classic in between bases now. Where does he go? To the 2nd, to the 3rd. Parting stuck on top of the hill, and there's still the Warp Prism around which can continue to harass this main base. Parting in a very, very difficult situation. How does he solve this puzzle? Units have been warped into the main base that he's got to deal with. If not, Classic is going to walk away with this. A brilliant move here by Classic, just putting him in a submission hold. Parting, how do you even deal with this?
I don't know, man. He's sending up units to try to deal with it for now. In the meantime, Classic saying, okay, you're down even more Zealots. Going in right now. A time warp goes down on top of Parting's whole army. The Colossus march forward, and this is it. We are going to have a new champion here at the Intel Extreme Masters as Classic going to destroy the army of Parting and his 3rd base.
As confident as Parting was, not today. GG is called, and Classic takes home the title of the Intel Extreme Masters here in Shenzhen.
Absolutely phenomenal play by Classic this weekend. Looking so strong, taking out all the other top contenders. And you can see he is absolutely overjoyed with this victory. His first